Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? And welcome back. My name is Eileo, in case you don't know it. And in today's video, I finally done my makeup, so I'm finally on camera after like a couple of reviews. But you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Wasn't really feeling it, but we are back. And in today's video, we have Jason as the next account review. He is level 43. And right before we start the video, let's go ahead and pull out that intro, boys. Jason, I've already took the liberty of looking at your account just for time's sake. It just makes things in life a lot easier. But at level 43, your gem quality seems fine. There was no outliers that I really saw other than your water Valk, which I just want to bring up to you and anyone else watching this video so you don't make a similar mistake. Everyone else seemed fine. You have just a lot of mons. I'm not sure if you're trying to Evo 3 them or you're trying to release them. Not exactly sure what you're doing with that, but I mean, if you're not running out of space, keep on doing what you're doing if you're going for the Astro Guide. If not, I would consider starting to condense down these mons or starting to rebirth them. That way you can focus on the more important ones and not just dump all your money into the Astro Guide when you can't clear out content. But anyways, I want to bring up your water Valk here, who looks okay from afar, but as soon as I click on her gems, I was like, WTF, dude. Because here's an HP gem up there with some crit rate up there. It's perfectly fine. And then she has an attack gem. Perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter about subs. You're level 43, not a big deal. But then she has a crit damage gem on her. I mean, it has 21.5% defense, but you have HP, attack, crit damage. I'm not sure if you just maybe threw that up there, but with roughly 5.4k attack and 40% crit rate, I really don't see her doing any damage at all. So to those of you guys out there thinking that you're just going to put crit damage gems on mons and they're going to perform super duper well, you're kind of playing yourself, because if she doesn't crit damage, that gem basically doesn't exist. Basically, she's running 2 gems if she doesn't crit. And with a 40% crit rate, their probability says there's going to be more times where she doesn't crit versus when she does crit. And with her stats being the way they are already, it's just not going to be that much. So just take that off. If you can't hit max crit or near max crit with a crit damage gem, add it up here. Just don't do it. Just do HP attack. Congratulations, it's over. But that was my only complaint for your gem quality. So let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the review, which is Golems. Alright, so here we are with some B7 action. Here you can see that I already have your team pretty much set out here. This is going to actually follow suit for all of the Golems pretty much, because they're very easily done, especially with wave clearers and especially when they're dark type. So it's going to be super duper easy for you. But anyways, we're rocking a Dark Marie. There's Dark Seedler. There's also your Dark Mona, and then Wood Odin. I didn't really see that many good wood hitters that you have, like wood nukers at all. I didn't see like a wood incubus or pretty much anyone of that nature, which isn't bad, but I didn't even think I saw like a wood Miho, which would still be usable here. But with all of your Dark Mons, especially Dark Mona and Dark Marie, they should have no problem clearing out the waves here. So the other Mons are pretty much just placeholders, and Seedler always does great damage. So I figured this would be a very optimal setup for you. There's a whole bunch of damage here. There's no need for heals if you're running all of these wave clearers, and I think this is going to be a pretty solid B17. So let's go ahead and move on to B8 next. Alright, here we are at B8. I saw your team before, and I just want to make a couple of tweaks to it because I thought it was a little bit excessive. And I'm not sure what your exact time is for B8, but hopefully this team would run a little bit better. So we're running the same exact setup as we have from B7. I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is. But basically, Dark Seedler, Dark Marie, Dark Mona, and then I have your water Valk. If you fix your water Valk and give her another attack gem, she should be perfectly fine. Just take that crit damage gem off of her. But it's pretty much copy and paste at this point. You're going to run with, at minimum, 2 dark wave clearers, which is Dark Marie and Dark Mona. And then insert whatever mon that you have that is a good hitter, a good damage dealer for whatever element that you have. At least for B7 through B9, and congratulations, that's it. I mean, you could also swap out Dark Seedler for Water Mona if you want, but Dark Mona, especially if you get her at her super evolution because of her recent buff, should be more than enough for this area. More than enough, probably even overkill. But that's my suggestion for B8, so let's go ahead and move on to B9. Alright, we are back with some B9 action. For your B9 team, I just made it 2 tweaks for the mons that you had here. And Eileo is a great mon to have, guys. I definitely like Eileo. Great nuker. I still use him to this day in clan versus clan, and I don't regret building him at all. But for B9 purposes, great nuker. It's nice that you have him already super evolved, Evo 3, and you have all kinds of enhancements on him, which makes him an easy choice here. Once again, we have Dark Marie and Dark Mona as wave clearers, so make sure you book those girls up. Get them to 60 when possible, especially get Dark Mona to Evo 3. I mean, there's no excuse right there, dude. No excuse. You can get her to Evo 3 while you're leveling up your mons. And then Fire Draka. I do see that Fire Draka is Evo 2. Not the end of the world here. Draka will come around, so in the future maybe stock some Golems up and get Fire Draka to Evo 3. I think one Fire Draka is enough for most players, even though some have 2. Like I now have 2, but some have 3 and 4. But I have 2 for pretty much a science purpose, which video coming soon on that. But yeah, this team should be perfectly fine for B9. You have wave clearers and basically a nuker, which what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? So let's go ahead and move on to B10 next. Alright, so we're back at B10, and this is the setup that I have for you at the moment. Once again, it would be way better if your Fire Draka was Evo 3, but you can give this one a shot for now. So Fire Draka, Fire Persephone, Water Artemis, and then Dark Mona. That is the squad right there. So the reason why I picked the squad out is just because I'm assuming that your Dark Mona is going to be fully booked up. She's going to have enhancements, and some point in time she's going to have her super evolution, which makes her better than Dark Marie, especially with her recent buff. So that's why I've been pushing Dark Mona so hard, especially as a wave clearer. I'm unsure how well Fire Draka will perform at Evo 2, but if Fire Draka does give you problems during the run, even with tip-top gems and trinkets and stuff of that nature, you could switch it out for Dark Marie, but I mean, Puncture, you can never go wrong with Puncture. And then Fire Purse and then Wet Artemis as both your sappers. You can run those on HP attack. Just make sure that they're Evo 2 at minimum. Decent gems, make sure they have trinkets. Enhancements does help as well. And of course, everyone needs to be level 60 and booked up if possible. Obviously, that's probably only going to apply to Dark Mona. But I think this is going to be a solid B10 team for you. It may not give you pro gamer times, but it should at least be clearable, and I would say no later than a minute and a half if you're doing everything right. This should be like an easy minute and 15, I would assume. I mean, just from rough calculations. But that's what I have to give for you in terms of Golems for right now. Is B11 in your future? Without a doubt, B11 is in a lot of people's futures, because you already do have 2 sappers, and B11, at least in my opinion, follows very similar to this, where you can run 2 wave clearers and 2 sappers. But it just really comes down to gem quality, having those mons, having the right mons for it, like everything else in the game. And I mean, pretty much, yeah, gem quality. So B11 is in your future, but you have to get your gems up first. You have to get these mons to Evo 2, and hopefully by the time you're ready to address B11, you'll have even 1 or 2 more of these mons to Evo 3, just to help solidify the run some more. But I don't see too much of an issue as long as you follow this advice for B11 in the future. So let's go ahead and move on next to the Colossuses, or the Colossi. But before that, guys, I did want to say that you can take all of these teams and once again apply them to Dragons. Dragons isn't anything that's super duper hard as long as your mons are Evo 2 and you have properly built them for Golems. It shouldn't be that big of an issue for you in terms of Dragons as well, especially with your wave clearers. If your wave clearers are dying in Dragons, if you're using these exact teams, feel free to switch one out and use a healer instead. Now this goes for like not even the super hard dragons. I mean, you could always do like the baby floor dragons and then work your way up, but I mean, what is it, B6, 7, and 8 or something like that? Or dragons B6, 7, and 8 are for the siphon gems that are, you know, at least a decent quality and not a poor man's siphon set. So you can give that a shot once these mons are raised up, but I wouldn't waste my time trying to do it until people are at level 60 and okay gems on them. Not perfect, but okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the Colossuses next. So it looks like you might be attempting, looks like Fire Colossus at the moment. I'm curious to see if you could beat it or not, because you have Sandwraith right here and Water Harley, even though she's only Evo 2, not a super big deal. And then Yeti, I'm assuming, is there for debuffing, and then Katyn. So I'm curious to see how well they do, because having a defense downer is very, very important there. And of course, if Sea Strikers are available, you can also use them here just to get either Colossus. But I'm not going to focus on this too much, because this seems to be just a low level player obsession here. I asked one of you guys about why you're so keen on doing Colossus right now, and you're stating that you can get like 4, 5, 6-star gems from it, which I understand that, but if you also run Golems, you can get gems that probably will be more usable, because you're not, sacrificing a whole bunch of energy / effort of building these certain mons up when everything else is a bit mediocre. So not entirely sure why there's such a big obsession with Colossus. I mean, I guess if you could get skill books from it, that's another incentive, and of course Light and Dark Siegfried. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe this team cleared it out for you. I would be surprised if it did. I mean, there's something you could tweak right here. Like, you can maybe throw in Water Hades at the bottom, and also you do have Wet Enders as well. You can always throw one of those on one of these teams, even though Wet Ender's Sea Striker ability isn't on his 3-star, it's on his 5-star. He's still a Sea Striker, but if this team works, it works. But for overall, my suggestion though is that I think you will be able to do the Wood Colossus in the future, because you do have the mons. You have some of the mons for it. Not a whole bunch of mons, but you do have some of the mons for it. But I'm not even going to bother making teams for it right now, because you don't have the mons that we need. But something that you could run in Wood Colossus would be obviously Fire Wukong. You could bring in your Wood Incubus, not Wood Incubus, Fire Incubus. I keep getting elements like confused, dude. And then also, if we could bring an attack up mon, even like Fire Katyn, that would be perfectly fine. And then you can end it here with hopefully a Fire Shinobi in the future, or whatever Sea Striker and Nuker that you have. And I mean, it's pretty much the same template for the second team as well. Basically, you want to apply defense down on the Colossus and try and burst them down. That's pretty much it. I don't remember my Fire Colossus team, not Fire Colossus, but my Wood Colossus team right off the bat. But this is very, very similar to that. Do I think you can do it? Not now, but I would definitely say in the future. The same thing for Water Colossus, which you've already been working on. I think you could do Water Colossus as well. I mean, if you could pull like a Balrona or someone of that nature, or even get that Harley to Evo 3, you should have no issues at all. You can also pick up some more Sandwraiths, but I was saving that for Titans. And then also, I think Light and Dark Colossus will be in your future as well, but mainly Light Colossus, because like many people, you have a lot of decent Dark Nukers, but not that many Light Nukers, which is okay. But I did see a Light Mowgli there, which is nice. So hopefully we can get some more Light Mons for you built up, even like a Light Otari or someone of that nature. So Light Colossus, well, not Light Colossus, but Dark Colossus becomes a lot easier in the future. But I didn't want to spend too much time on Colossus, because boys and girls, you don't have to focus on this right now. Like, I'm not saying you have to be an elitist to do Colossus or anything like that, but there's just so much in the game that you guys have to work on, and you're focusing on this little aspect of the game. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to PvP next. Alright, so for PvP offense, this is the team that I'm rocking for you right now at the moment. Am I saying that it's optimal? By no means, but you don't really have a whole bunch of mons that you could use to either do like a CC method, which is crowd control. So you don't have really any stunners. You do have like Wet Yuki and Wet Artemis and Fire Purse as sappers, but yeah, it's just really not that great in terms of crowd control. So for you at the moment, at least, I do recommend just a nuker route, especially at level 43. So with your team composition here, we have Dark Mona, Dark Sandwraith, Water Valk, and then Fire Leo. So we're breaking out all of the hardest hitters that you have in the squad, and then also Dark Sandwraith does have the ability to do SP Siphon, which is great, especially when you're faced up against tanky mons, so that's why he's thrown in there. And also persevere can be helpful as the battles draw out. And there's my cat right here, about to make a jump. Can he do it? He's done it. But Dark Mana, staple wave clearer, as you could probably tell by this video so far. 2 nukers, and then someone that can do some control with preventing other mons from getting their 5-star off, hopefully. That's what I'm rocking with for you right now. By no means, like I said before, is this going to be like the OG, just pro gamer team. But I think for now, it should work. Obviously, you're going to switch out elements depending on what you're fighting, just to make it more doable for you in terms of PvP. But I think this composition is solid for you at the moment. I will say in the future, though, I would maybe build a water Sura. I've seen that you have, I think you have a light Zephyros. You also have a wood Hohenheim who does have resistance down, but without many crowd controllers, it kind of makes it hard for you to build a crowd control team because it just simply doesn't exist. So in future regards, at least hopefully invest in a couple of crowd control mons like water Sura or someone of that nature that can stun, even if it's wood Indra. Just so if you run into an issue where nukers don't work, you do have backup, so you can just stun them to death. But that is my advice for PvP offense teams. Now for defense, it's pretty similar here with what I can recommend, because there's no real crowd control mons. So I'm just trying to pick up the best that I could at the moment. And while she isn't optimal by no means at all, and 433 just act like she doesn't exist if I can find her, what I was thinking about for your defensive team right now is your light Mona, and then where's she at? Dark Niho, Wet Purse, and then someone else. It really doesn't matter who else you have. I would honestly pick your Light Nike over Light Mona, but your Light Nike isn't a Light Nike at all. She's only Evo 2. But basically, this team composition has people that are tanky, but no real damage dealers, and there's not really any crowd control either, which is a bit unfortunate. But for the 4th slot, just throw in whoever that you want, honestly. I would prefer someone that could stun, or someone that could do something damage-wise, but also remain being tanky. But I don't have a lot to work with here, man. I'm trying to give suggestions, and there's just not a lot to work here. I mean, light C-Star, you could bring her, but there's crit resist. I would not suggest bringing a wave clearer offensively, because you're just asking for them to get killed. So, I mean, it's a little issue here, but not a super big one. You do have Fire Ender, who could be useful offensively, at least for now. But yeah, find someone else if you want and throw them in here, and hopefully this will be a okay defensive team. By no means pro gamer, but okay at the very, very minimum, even if it's Dark Birdie for now until you get things better. But the main issue here is just having mons that are able to, you know, mess up the other squad. You can even throw your Dark Yuki in here and that should be perfectly fine. But that's my suggestion for your PvP teams. Not the best in the world, but we gotta do what we gotta do, boys. And for clan versus clan, even though you're not in clan versus clan, offensively, it's pretty solid, dude. Like what you need to do. If you're ever in it, when you do clan versus clan and make your teams, you just want to focus on building your composition to kind of counteract whatever team that you're fighting. It's very similar to PvP. If you can do PvP, you can do the same thing for clan versus clan. And in terms of your defense party, once, or if you ever get back into that, you want to try and run it with a mix of aggressors and crowd control mons, which we know that you currently lack, but it's something that you could work towards in the future. That way, when people go to attack you, they're either faced with a wall of HP, or they're faced with a wall of just stunners and shockers and things of that nature. That's the main goal here, just to be as annoying as possible for clan versus clan defense. And yep, those are my suggestions for PvP and clan versus clan. Not the best in the world, but let's go ahead and move on to Titans next. Alright, so in regards to Titans, I would not recommend Wood Titan for you right now. You just lack the hard-hitting Sea Strikers that you need at the moment. It's nice that you have a Wukong and you also have a Sha Wujing, because we all know I like to call him Fire Gilgamesh, even though I'm human and I make mistakes, but apparently Eileo Eileo can't make mistakes at all. But yeah, you don't have any like dedicated fire sea strikers. Fire Incubus is abysmal. Fire Incubus is just trash. I'm sorry. You do have him at Evo 3, but I find him to be trash. I have one on Ruin. I used to use him. He was fully booked up. Dude was still trash. But if you can get lucky and pull some Fire Shinobis, you would definitely have a solid Wood Titan team in the future, you know, starting to roll in. So that's nice to know. And concerns to Fire Titan, I do think you can hit Fire Titan, but it's not gonna be optimal at all by any means. But I'm gonna just make things simple and include in text a team that you could run for your Fire Titan squad, just to hopefully raise up your damage some. Now you could tweak this yourself and hopefully get a better a better damage scenario out of it. But this is just roughly what I came up with while looking at your account. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into the video now and take a look at that. Now for the water, light, and dark Titan, the same thing is apparent. It's just that you don't have the Sea Strikers for it. I'm not suggesting that, you know, people always have light and dark mons to do light and dark Titan reliably, but there's just not that many Sea Strikers all across the board that would make hitting these mons worth your while. I'm not saying that you can't do it right now, but I would say if you're going to burn swords, at least burn it in at the Titan that you could do the best at, versus you trying to hit all of the Titans and doing like 1 million damage, if that, not even 1 million damage, maybe like 500k at max. So yeah, my suggestion is just focus on Fire Titan for right now. Once you pull more Sea Strikers, maybe in the future we could do another account review or just talk on Discord and hopefully boost up your damage in the other Titans. But it's really dependent on Sea Strikers. And at level 43, no one can expect you to have everything in the world because you're only level 43. So that pretty much concludes Titans. I mean, we have to work with, once again, with what we have here, like I've stated before 85,000 times. But my suggestion for you for future reference though is, what I would do is I would definitely build 2 Fire Katins if you haven't already. You do have 2 sitting over here, actually 3, so if you want to get them to Evo 3 in the future, when you have the extra gold to do so, get them to Evo 3, get them booked up at least level 50 or level 60, so that way you can kind of prep for Wood Titan in the future. Next up would be like 1 Fire Cupid, because what's his name, Cornunos, he's out, so he could definitely take one of the spots away from Fire Cupid, and you could keep 1 Fire Cupid for attack up and maybe run a Cornunos in another position, or the same position that Fire Cupid would be in. But I would suggest to you at least 1 Fire Cupid for right now. You don't have to worry about Cornunos at the moment. Please don't. He will be back. He will be back. Next up though would also be 2 Water Cures. I think you have 1 at the moment. I would definitely pick up another one just so you can have more attack up action in your squad. And if they're Evo 2 for right now, they're Evo 2. It's not a big deal. And then also, another suggestion is 4 Wood Hanas. This takes forever. This is probably the longest part in terms of Titans. But if you're interested in Titans, that is, I would definitely work on getting some more Hanas. There's also 2 Wood Minicats that I would recommend you building, as well as another Wood Phibian. That right there would take care of at least the healers / debuffers, mostly for the RGB Titans. And of course, you can also use them in light and dark Titans, but this would cover a big deal of the mons that you need other than the Sea Strikers. There's mons like Sand Wraith and stuff of that nature that you can build, and I do recommend, at least for Fire Titan right now, until you pull more Sea Strikers. But the other ones, there's not really any other mon out there that's farmable like Sand Wraith is, that you could use in Titans in my opinion. So either save Nat 4s for rebirths or just get lucky with pulls, which we all know how that goes. It's a rough world. But anyways, this is pretty much the end of the account review, Jason. What I would recommend though is that you continue to grind. Make sure you raise the mons that you're going to be using in Golems at the very minimum to level 60. PvP mons need to be level 60. I would recommend that you pull during festivals only. Depending on how active your clan is and depending on how loud this airplane is will also depend if I curse or not. But depending on how active your clan is, you could either opt for Clan Festival, or in your case, it may actually be more beneficial for you to at least focus on Heroes Festival for maybe a couple months and maybe get lucky and pull a Wood Merlin or a Water Bast or a Wet Balrona, someone of that nature, which would help you fill out your Titans team slots and also help you in Colossus as well, because Sea Strikers are very important there. So that's my suggestion for you, especially if you're interested in Titans. You don't have to follow this advice because it is professional but unlicensed. And for right now, I would also focus on raising up your fire purse, your Dark Mona, most definitely, hands down. She should be your #1 mon to work on right now. Your Wet Artemis, your Dark Marie, and then also your Dark Yuki for future endeavors. So getting those 5 mons raised up should be pretty solid regardless of whatever content that you do, especially as you move on out of the baby version of the Golems, aka B7 through B9, and focus more on B10. And then Dark Yuki will also be a good representative for you in terms of PvP, in terms of, you know, her usage either offensively if you decide to build her that way, or defensively as a defensive mon. And of course, Super Evolution if you can. Not a big deal if you can't, but something to work towards in the future. But that pretty much ends this video, you guys. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, if you want account review done, you have to join the Discord. You have to hopefully have a Google Play/Facebook account. If it's iOS, I can help you out via Discord, but you just have to send me screenshots of what you want done. And if you guys are requesting account review, please have an idea of what you want done in the account review. Don't tell me I don't know, because I don't know doesn't help me. It's like going to the doctor's office and the doctor says, you know, hey, John, what are you here for? And you're like, I don't know. And he's going to be like, well, I don't know what to do. It's the same thing here. At least have an idea. Oh, I want a better Titans team. I want a better Golems team. Hey, can you check this and see if my PvP team is alright? At least have an idea to go off of, so it makes this whole thing a lot smoother. But yeah, guys, see ya.